Major League Soccer, the amateur hour, the lower tier to some of the mid tiers, not anywhere near the big five soccer leagues, has announced a pretty big thing. They are shifting their schedule so that they can finally align with the rest of the world's soccer schedule. So they're not playing at a random time like they have been for, their inception in 1996. So no, 1996. I don't know when they were incepted. It doesn't matter because the MLS has been pretty much irrelevant its whole existence. But this is something that maybe is going to help. So let's find out. Let's see the article that comes to us from ESPN and see what the MLS is doing and if it's going to have an impact. So MLS switching schedule to align with world soccer. So right there, sounds pretty good from the get-go. Let's read it. This article is by Lizzie Becherano. Okay, hi Lizzie. All right, the Major League Soccer Board of Governors voted to align with the international soccer calendar by shifting the regular season to a summer to spring campaign beginning in 2027, which I'm not going to lie, y'all. I don't know what was the reason to not align with it anyway. Right? Because if you're trying to make a big competitive league that is going to be like the others, why would you not align your schedule with the rest of the major leagues in the world already? This seems like it is a shift about 30 years too later. But I digress on that front. Let's keep going. Um, I hate ESPN. I roll over them and the tabs always come down. They suck. Anyway, as opposed to most international leagues, MLS currently plays from February to November. Quote, the calendar shift is one of the most important decisions in our history, MLS Commissioner Dan Garber said in a news release. Aligning our schedule with the world's top leagues will strengthen our club's global competitiveness, create better opportunities in the transfer market, and ensure our Audi MLS Cup playoffs take center stage without interruption. So that statement was mostly fine. I really dislike the fact that there's still a playoffs in the MLS. I know it's a very American thing to do, to have a regular season, have a playoff, and then crown a champion via a playoff. But I think that until the MLS comes around like the rest of the world, has a table and starts relegating teams. I know there's still a lower league that the Cosmos still play in. The MLS needs to figure out a way to basically sign those lower teams to a second division, make an official MLS second division, and do relegation and do a table with a point system where the team at the top wins the league. I think that's far too long, and that should be the next decision because it hurts me. Because I think that everything they said there, global competitiveness, maybe, but the transfer market is really true there because you're seeing the players at their best form and you're bringing in players around the world that are currently playing that maybe need a change of scenery. And you can get that young, talented kid on loan now from a major team, and they're playing in that lower tier and they're already playing soccer. So bringing them in would make more sense. So the transfer window thing is very true. It seriously hurts me that there are still playoffs. Let's keep rolling here. It marks the start of a new era for our league and for soccer in North America. The change would see the season kick off in mid July and run through the spring, with decision day in April and the MLS Cup playoffs in May. MLS would allocate a winter break to prioritize player recovery, pausing action from mid December to early or mid February. So basically, giving them almost 2 months off to recover. So it's not a bad thing in terms of if you're the players. That's a good thing to look at. More than 90% of games are expected to be played in the footprint the league currently employs. A shift in the upcoming calendar would have MLS coincide with the international transfer windows, facilitating the club's ability to take part in the global transfer market. The current calendar has the MLS primarily transfer window running from January 31st to April 23rd, while most international leagues handle player transfers during the traditional summer window. So again, there is some smart stuff there, right? Because if you're playing on the same transfer window as everyone else, now you're wheeling and dealing. the same way. And I think even from a perspective of the general managers of these franchises, I think the respect level is going to be much higher when they could sit there and really make some loans out, buy some players, sell some players, and look at it and they can argue, okay, this kid's in pretty good form. He's sitting on our bench. We think he'd be good to go over to, I don't know, Leeds or Sheffield or any of these clubs, right? It would be a better situation for our MLS players to go out on loans to better teams and then come back better players. That's how we will eventually build this league. The league will be built through things like this, through having our youth going to play internationally, going to play competitively. And then when that loan is done, they're back and they're now back under contract and have to play in the MLS. So you're going to have your talent go get better and rise up. It's how a lot of the leagues have done it, how a lot of the teams, especially in the big five leagues, your English Premier, your Bundesliga, your La Liga, your Serie A. Which one am I leaving out? Your Liga One, France. These are how they have really built their groups. They have their academies, they have their U20, U23, U16 teams, and they will give these kids out on loan to other big teams or even some lower tier teams, but they're playing against grown adults because they're good enough to go play against the grown men in these other teams, get experience at that speed of the game. So then when they come back on loan, either number one, their value is incredibly high because they played internationally and now we can fully transfer them out and get something cool, or they now come play for us and they've had that international experience and now their talent level has risen. They're now coming back to us mature, and that's how the MLS will eventually raise their status, because what they've been doing, buying these old over the hill players like Lionel Messi coming in and just running it. You had Ibrahimovic coming in and he talked about how easy the MLS was. That's not good for your league. Yes, the star power is great, you're selling jerseys, cool, and I get it, franchises want to make money, but you're not going to make your league more competitive or better if you're just bringing in all these old men to come in and dominate your league when they're old and not even at their top form. So I do think there is something, and that is a wise choice there, to be able to get these players, put them out on loan, take in players from loan as well, because now the other teams will be willing to loan out their players more to us across the pond because we're playing at the same time, so they can see, how how their player on loan is progressing, so that when they come back they can check their progress. These teams look at all this type of stuff, so it is a good move for that sense. So let's keep on going. um the new calendar, which will begin the year after the US, Canada, Mexico co host the 2026 World Cup, receives support from FIFA president Gianni Infantino. And quote right here: with the FIFA World Cup in Canada, Mexico, and the United States on the horizon, this calendar announcement marks an important and timely step forward for Major League Soccer, he posted on Instagram. Quote, over the past 30 seasons, MLS has steadily built a strong foundation and established itself as one of the best leagues in North America, which isn't very hard to do. I'm not going to lie. Liga MX is like the other one. Well, Argentina has a good league. Brazil has a good league, but still, it's not like we're that great. The CONMEBOL is better in the CONCACAF. So, it's a little skewed. By aligning with the international match calendar, MLS is positioning itself for the new era of both domestic and global growth at club level after next year's game-changing FIFA World Cup, a tournament that is set to ignite unprecedented passion for football across all across the continent. So again, there is some good strategy to this. I think it is smart to do it the following season after the World Cup, because typically after these major events, I'm a track guy, so after the Olympics, the track fervor is a little high. It's risen, right? After, the World Cup, everyone's a friggin' fan. And people will want to do that. So it does give the chance, and it will give the intrigue of, hey, World Cup just ended. Come check out the new MLS. We're now on that international schedule. So while you're paying attention to your favorite English Premier team, your favorite Bundesliga team, your favorite MLS team will be playing at the same exact time. So there is some value to that. Now, I don't know what it's going to do for their All-Star game, where they've constantly relied on bringing in a really good team from one of the big five and putting the MLS All-Stars against them. They're going to have to do something different there, but I don't think they really care about an All-Star game right now. Let's keep on rocking. Quote, we will MLS will run a shortened season in 2027 from February to May. I cannot read right now. When an MLS Cup champion will be crowned before the league officially shifts to a summer slash spring calendar. So they're gonna have a shortened season, which makes sense, right? And also it coincides with the World Cup and stuff too. So it was always going to be messy in 2027. So no pun intended. So I think it's a good thing that that's where they're doing it. The math adds up there. Quote, we will have an MLS regular season. We'll have a regular season that crowns an MLS champion. We will award CONCACAF Champions Cup spots based on performance in that MLS season, said Nelson Rodriguez, MLS Executive Vice President of Sporting and Competition. We expect the US Open Cup, the Canadian Championship, to continue to exist, and we'll also have the MLS season to serve as a qualifier for Leagues Cup. Quote, less matches, less overall league season matches, but with a full playoff and an MLS Cup championship. So again, this is actually, again, outside of the playoffs, which I think are stupid, this is a pretty well thought out plan. With the way they're doing it, with the straight way they're strategizing, they are trying to take advantage of what the World Cup excitement and the buildup is going to bring because next year with the friendlies and stuff, and as we're starting to see what Pooch is going to put on as his club, it's going to be interesting, and it's the fervor is going to start to rise slowly but surely in America for this. Um, Nelson later confirmed there was a vote on the competition format, though details of the changes continued to be discussed. Though the Board of Governors approved the switch, the league is still working out the details with the MLS Players Association and could hit a stumbling block there. Rodriguez said there was very good dialogue with the MLSPA. Another source said the discussions were teetering. Now, this is going to be typical posturing because, and I don't blame the Players Association because they're going to try and squeeze as much as they can out of this, right? They know as well as everybody else that this is a good change. This is a needed change. It's something that has to happen. But as a players association, it is their job to protect the players and to get as much for the players as possible. So again, I don't blame them for wanting to sit there and go, hey, this is a rapid change from our current agreement. We're going to have to renegotiate here. And obviously, one side saying it was good, the other side saying it's teetering. We don't know what's going on in that room. So it's all negotiation tactics right there. Sources told ESPN that the primary issues for the MLSPA were the league's unwillingness to commit to hard dates for the schedule changes, as well as the length of the offseason. If the offseason was too short, it could make player movement via free agency, something the MLSPA has fought for through multiple collective bargaining agreements, difficult. Negotiations for the last CBA, ratified in 2021, were contentious in that the league twice forced a renegotiation that rolled back a considerable number of gains the MLSPA achieved at the bargaining table. The first rollback resulted in the MLSPA giving up $150 million over the life of the deal to avoid pay cuts. MLS also succeeded in extending the CBA for an additional 2 years through 2027. So when you get all those details and when you see all that, I'm absolutely coming back to this fight, right? Because it seems like the MLSPA got some concessions. They had their free agency and things like that, but they had to give in a lot in order to continue to get an agreement to continue to play soccer. So if I'm the MLSPA, I took some L's the last time. So now I'm coming in and trying to get some W's right here, but we'll see where that one goes. Um, Most recently, the two sides butted heads over bonuses for the FIFA World Cup. It's no surprise that then that the union is attempting to exert some leverage in its discussions with the MLS, like I just said. Garber previously teased the possibility of the changing calendar, saying the alignment with the international leagues made sense, which it does. Though the Board of Governors failed to pass the motion during the summer's meeting, the topic continued to be discussed before finally being confirmed Thursday. Quote, we're not making any announcements today, but we continue to do an enormous amount of work with our fans, with our partners, with all of our chief soccer officers, and with our clubs to get ourselves closer to the point where we're able to make that decision, Garber said in July. But we believe that alignment is something that makes sense. And lo and behold, here we are and aligned. Oh, I just read without it being up there. Sorry, guys. But so here we go. There it was. That's what I read. Sorry, guys. But overall, this is good. This is a good move. I think the playoffs will be axed eventually. I think that the MLS is profitable as a league, which is taken a long time. They have 4 teams that are actually profitable. Everyone else is either breaking even or taking a loss. Out of their, I think they have 30 teams now. So out of their teams, they're still working to make everyone profitable. But the MLS has come such a long way since its inception. It has done so good. The people that have backed it, the owners that have continued to just pour money in when things were going wrong, have gotten it this far. I think it's only a matter of time before the next step is this group is our first division. We're going to go sign a bunch of these because there is lower leagues that currently exist in the United States. Let's go sign them and let's make them official MLS Division 2, and then we can have a relegation scheme and stop with the playoffs and become more and more and more like the world, aligning in it. And your soccer fans in the United States, which there are millions of soccer fans in the United States, will then look at the MLS. And while it still will not compare to the talent of the big five across the pond, at least it will resemble the game that we have watched, we have enjoyed, and we all know so well in terms of how the tables works, how the point scoring works, how relegation works, how the Champions League selection works, how the Europa over there works, which can all be fit in to the way MLS does it. But this is a step in the right direction, getting on the international schedule. So I will applaud. I will applaud the MLS for that action. It was good. It's about time. So I thank everybody for watching this video. If you made it this far, I appreciate it. Please make sure you check us out every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. where we have our live show that goes on where we do some interviews, we do reactions to videos, and we have an overall great time. You could check us out on YouTube, Rumble, X, Kick, Facebook. We're all over there. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, do all that stuff wherever you are. And if you like the videos that you're seeing here, you want to see more, you want to see the clips that we post up, make sure that you go and you're absolutely subscribed to the YouTube and the Rumble because that's where you can find these. So I appreciate everyone that's watching. Thank you so much. See you next time.